It was the scariest moment of my life. And I don't think he was gonna, I didn't know what was gonna happen. And I just like sobbed. I was sobbing in the room. My pregnancy was great. Every time I went for an ultrasound, the sonographer said that she's never seen identical twins growing as perfectly as ours. Like they were just growing absolutely beautifully. It was the easiest labor and delivery of all three of my pregnancies. And then they sent us home. And we went to our first doctor appointment. Oliver had gained weight, Henri had lost weight. They said, come back 2 days later. We came back. Oliver had gained more weight, Henri had lost more weight. The practitioner that saw Henri that day, she wanted us to get an ultrasound. I called the imaging center, they had no availability. So we went to the emergency department. And in the emergency room, Henri had a respiratory event. The crash cart was called, there was 15 people plus in the room, the NICU team, the paramedic, respiratory therapists, doctors, attendings, nurses, everyone working to make him breathe.
He officially coded.
We're very blessed that we were in the emergency department to get the imaging, because if he had had that respiratory event at an imaging center, I don't know that we would have the same outcome. For that stay, he was in the NICU for a week. The doctors were amazing, the nurses were amazing, and then he grew for 3 days in a row, and we were able to go home. And we were like, okay, we have our family back together again. It was beautiful, and we were so grateful. So 4 days after he was released from the NICU, I noticed that like from here up looked grayish. And then we looked at his hands and they were like bluish, purplish. And we rushed him back to the emergency room when he was readmitted to the NICU. On the second NICU stay, they found a mixed paraesophageal hiatal hernia. And it was quite significant in size. Dr. Thatch said he needs surgery. By that point, I had been there for like 7 weeks. One thing that gave me hope was Dr. Thatch. He said, I have 4 kids. He said, I have 4 kids. And he said, when Henri's on the table, he's my 5th. And, you know, I believed him. I believe him, you know? They wheeled him into the room, and all he could do was stare at Emmanuel. He was just staring at his dad the whole time, and I just thought it was the sweetest thing in the world. They had a little bed there for Ollie. So Ollie had his own bassinet in the NICU room, and that's where he slept every day. And when they did PT with Henri, Ollie would get on the mat with him too. He's growing like a champ. He's eating like a champ, and he's like a happy, happy baby, smiling all the time. Yeah, he's doing great. I would say the most significant part of Henri's story for me is the people. We had nurses and doctors and nurse practitioners and physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech therapists. This whole team works together, and not just for the health of your baby, but for you as a family. And they reminded us time and time again that we were never alone.